Ay, hindi pa ba? Hello,
Hello,
hello. Hi, everyone. This is Dave and
hello.
Roxanne.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Today we're going to dive on a topic that is close to our heart, and the topic today is,
Why most people stay stuck financially and what changed for us?
most people are generally hardworking. We
Mm-hmm.
were too. Most people are striving to want more, especially in the financial side. Um, but they stay stuck, not for a week, not for
Mm-hmm.
a month. They're stuck for a year, 2 years, or even over 10 years of their life.
Yeah.
And the reason why we started with that, because that was us. If you can relate to that, you want to stay till the end, because we're going to kind of dive deep on why,
Mm-hmm.
and some suggestions on how to get out of your financial stuckness, so to speak, right?
Yeah, and if you see that there are people that could benefit from this, feel free to share
Mm.
this video to your friends, to your families as well.
Yeah. This is the first time you're tuning into our business page. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We love to always know where you're tuning in from. We missed this. It's been a while. To give you value in a go live format. Facebook has changed lately. That's why we don't do as much go lives now.
Yes, I think Facebook likes shorter videos,
Mm,
but at the same time, we like personally like longer videos
yeah.
because we love to teach, we love to talk. So yesterday we did a podcast with one of the business leaders in our online business community,
Long format. We like
long
that format.
format, and that's gonna be posted in YouTube, I think. But it's actually scheduled. So once it's available, we will share it in our page as well. But yes, that's why we're here, just to check in with you and share with you about this topic.
All right. Number one, why most people stay stuck financially is this. We realized this long time ago, that trading time for money has a ceiling.
Yes.
How many of you guys can understand or relate to that? Drop the number one in the chat. Trading time for money has a ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's only so much time,
Yeah.
right? 8 hours is already hard work, right? 10, 15, that's overtime, right? But no one can literally work 24 hours, right? You have to sleep, right? And if you only get paid per hour, you're stuck at a certain ceiling, right? You have to realize that if you've been working for a company for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you want to get out of your financial stuckness, as I call it, right? You have to understand that first important principle: you cannot out earn the number of hours you're gonna work, because trading time for money has a ceiling, right?
Yeah, like, working hard is not bad, right? But you've got to find a way to build it smarter, right? Like for us, we found this concept about passive income because of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when we learned about that, we realized that like your job is a blessing to pay for your bills, for your daily, monthly bills, right? To make a living, but you need to build something on the side because your job can only do so much. It has a ceiling, regardless if you're a high paying professional, manager, doctor, lawyer, right, or engineer. It has a ceiling, whether we like it or not. So that's why when we realized that, we started to build, side hustles, business on the side.
Yeah, because like I love this. I learned it from Jim Rohn, right? That if you want to make more, you have to give more value to the
Mhm.
marketplace. So let's say you're an accountant, right?
Mhm.
And you work for a company. Your value is only limited to
Mhm.
those 8 hours that you're working within the company. But how do you expand your value, right? Expand your value is, if you could, let's say you do taxes, right? In your job, it tells you, your own pay per hour and you're done, right? But if you get outside of that, you can help way more people doing individual taxes. If you
Mhm.
charge, I don't know what's the charge now. Let's say 100 per tax, tax, because it's time, it's timely, because we just did our taxes. It's the tax season, right? If you do, 10 people, 100 each in taxes, that's $1,000, right?
Mhm.
You can do 20, you can do 30 with help, right? So that's the same value, but outside of a job, it expands how much more people you can help with the skill sets that you have, because it's not in a job structure, right? But it's the same value. So that's the first. It has a ceiling. So
Yeah. So once you realize that, like most people realize that, the second reason why people stay stuck financially, right, is because fear keeps people stuck,
that's
right?
right.
They know, but they're afraid of starting. They're afraid of making mistakes, especially if you're an A student, especially if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to make mistakes or afraid to make mistakes or being perfectionist. And that will keep you stay stuck, right?
And that's another thing, and I'm really passionate about is the school system has designed us to be
Mm-hmm.
stuck in a trading time for money job, environment when we're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in school we were trained that if you have low marks, if you fail, it's not good.
Yeah.
But in real life, to be able to go outside of that environment, you have to be willing and be not afraid of failure, right? Because failure is the only way. Failure is a necessary road to success when it comes to business entrepreneurship, right? Or giving your value outside of your job environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the thing, right? If you want to know, I can do part time doing those taxes, going back to that thing, right? But what if there's so many what ifs, right? This and that, what if the customer is not going to be happy? What if
Mm-hmm.
I won't know how to do this stuff? Those are just what ifs, right? But on the flip side, what if it's going to work, right? That's the thing, right? So you have to get out of that failure. You have to reframe it. It's not failure. It's basically, it's instead of win or learn, it's or win or fail. It's win or lose. I mean, it's win or learn, right? So again, this is the second reason why people stay
Yeah,
stuck.
it says here a lot of people know they need to change something, but fear hold them back. So, for example, for people that are already in the business, they know they need to do an ad. They need to. They know they need to create a video. They know they need to, get outside of their comfort zone. But what stopped them is their fear of what if people will laugh at me? What if I spend this money and it doesn't give me a return on investment? What if I spend and I don't, I'm still gonna don't have the results, right? Or it's always in our mind, what if this doesn't work?
In a bad way, but you
Yeah.
have to switch it. What if in a good way? What if it can
Mhm.
work for me? And so I got to think where you feel feel the feeling and do it anyways. Feel the fear and do it anyways. Comment in the chat, do it anyways. You have got to do it anyways. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. Third one is, let's say, okay, Coach Roxanne and Coach Dave, I'm gonna do it anyway. But the reason number three is why people stay stuck is they don't have a system. So that means they have no direction. They don't know what to do. They don't, maybe we wanted to do better financially, but didn't know where to start.
So let's talk about finances in general. I'm talking about entrepreneurship earlier.
Mhm.
Finances in general, right? You want to, okay, finally, I'm gonna take responsibility of my debts. I'm gonna take responsibility of my income that's coming in.
Mhm.
But most people, a lot of us growing up, you know, especially if you grew up in not so, for us, we didn't we grew up in a rich family, or there's no system on how to handle money, not very clear.
Mhm.
Or you just do what you were told to do, and if it wasn't good, the reason why you're in debt, you're gonna keep following that system, and you
Yeah.
have no clarity on how to do it. Again, the reason we're sharing this with you is that was us
Yeah.
for over 10 years. Even if we went into one of my first business was financial services, right? I knew the system, but I didn't really have a clear
Direction.
direction
Plan.
on plan, emotional, and examples of people that have done it in a community that helped me implement that system. So, um, and a lot of you that follow us know that we went to the Dave Ramsey solution, and we kind of did our debt free scream, and this is one of our turning points, right?
Yeah.
We finally had a clear system on how to handle our money, right? And it started with this book, right?
Yeah. So in 2018, of February, February 28th, 2018, that was like what, 8 years ago. We got a letter from our employment saying that they no longer need us. So that was a wake up call for us. That was a we were managing a property, and for many years, for over 10 years, we were living for free, and that was our saving grace. And when we got that letter, it 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 gave us fear of like, okay, we have nothing to show for. We were in so much debts. We have, like, what happened, right? And it was our turning point where we realized, our finances is in a mess, because we knew that trading our time for money is has a ceiling, right, in our job. So that's why we were doing different kinds of businesses before. And that's when the time that I prayed to God, Lord, heal our finances.
And it's interesting because when we prayed that, because people only see the after where we paid off our debt in 16 months, all of 86,000, and we become debt free in 3 years. People didn't give us instant wealth or even instant business opportunity. You know what God gave us first? Wisdom and a clear plan, right? Bible based, biblical based financial principles, right? It gives us the baby steps in the Total Man Makeover. It gave us a very clear step by step way of handling our finances together as a couple. That wasn't easy, right?
Yeah.
It's simple system, but it wasn't easy. This time we were ready to follow every
Yeah.
single step, right? Because sometimes it's timing, right? You could have heard this message before already, from one end or the other. It just goes from here to the other. But when you have a never again moment where there is urgency
Yeah.
to deal with your finances, because literally, like Roxanne says, saving grace, like urgency, because we were close to being homeless because we have nowhere to live, and we finally followed the baby step, the systems.
Yeah. So if you are in debt, whether it's your student loan or a business loan or credit loans,
Or
cars,
you're stressed.
or you're stressed with your finances, this book was life changing for us. Whether you have a business or not, like, you can really become, like, financially free using this system, right? So for us, that was our wake up call, right? And we read that book, we applied that, and for, like, for many many months, we've applied the principles in our finances. We started to get promoted in our jobs, and then in October of 2018, that's when we found the online business.
Finally, we were ready,
Yeah.
right, to take on a business, because God also knew that we're ready to handle the money that will
Yeah.
come in our lives. But the thing is about it is, like, when you really take 100% responsibility and you follow a system, right, it can change so fast. Because we struggled over 10 years in our finances, and just under, like, very fast, in under 3 years, everything, started to change, right?
Yeah.
It's been only 7 years of doing this, and it's just so life changing, right? So it can change fast for you. So
Yeah, like, last year in September 2025, we did a debt free scream in the Dave Ramsey show. And that was really like our dream come true. We paid off over 700,000. Imagine that, right? Paying off over 700,000. And it's because of God's grace and because of this system, right? And it allowed us to pay off our home. It's a brand new home. We paid off our condo in the Philippines, our cars as well, and of course our consumer debts and everything, right? So because of we found a system that we follow financially, right?
yeah,
And
and it's so hard to be to become successful financially in your business, because there's a lot of online business owners that are in the community. If you don't know how to handle your money, right, if you're not, if the Lord cannot trust you with a little, He cannot give you more, because it's not good for you, right? Think about a dad, right? And my 3-year-old wants a Ferrari, right? Can't handle. He might kill himself, right? So that the Lord will not give it to you, because He's a loving dad, right? But if you grow up, mature in your character,
Yeah.
become 18 years old financially, so to speak, right? That you're able to drive a car, right, or more money in your life, God will give you more. So we want to end with a Bible verse, because we have to go to another training. Proverbs 21:5, it says,
The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty.
I love what it says. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. It didn't say instant profit. It says lead to profit. That means it's a process, right? So
It takes time.
it takes time. So if you follow a step, baby step plan with 7 steps, it takes time. It's simple, but it's not easy, right? But on the flip side, it says, you know, a surely that leads to
Haste
poverty.
leads.
Haste leads to poverty. What's haste? Like just
You're in a hurry,
not following a
a system, or for example, if you're looking for, let's say you're in a business, and you don't see a result, you get frustrated because you don't see the results right away, and
you
then
become ABD,
yeah, you
attention business deficit
you go
disorder.
somewhere else and say, oh, this is not for me, I'll find a different one, right? So for us, when we follow this step, for example, financially, when we found the system, which is the Total Money Makeover, we found the online business system, we follow it, we put our minds into it, that it is long term, that there is a plan to follow, that we shouldn't be in a hurry, because before, for the longest time, we jumped from one business to another. We like we did real estate, at that time, when we did real estate, we quit our jobs,
Yeah.
we did it full time, and after, I think, 6 months, when we didn't see the results, we said, oh, this is not for us, and then we find another one, the car buy and sell cars, and we did it for a couple of months.
Yep.
And then if we don't see the results, we jump to another one. So in this case, when we learn this proverb saying, hey, you know what, it takes time, we have to follow the system and do the work, not in a hurry to become successful, then the results came.
I hope we gave you value. We said we're going to do it under 10 minutes, but we can't because we love teaching. We have another
YouTube.
mentoring Zoom after YouTube ads. So we want to just jump in and give you value. If you know of anyone that are struggling financially, that are stuck, send this to them, share it to them. Hopefully it can help them. It helped us,
Yeah.
especially the book itself.
Mhm.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a happy Thursday. God bless everybody.
God bless you. Bye.